Hi guys, I just found something very interesting regarding my book, a piece of evidence that supports some of the things that I say in my book. You see, according to most people, Arthur fought his climactic Battle of Baden against the Saxons in the early 6th century, or maybe even the late 5th. And a very important linking bit of information regarding the Battle of Baden is that the contemporary writer who wrote about it, Gildas, said that he was writing 43 years after that battle was fought, which was when he was born, apparently. But he also directs some comments to some kings that apparently were still alive at the time he was writing. So if you can work out when those kings were ruling, then Gildas must have been writing at that time. So then, once you know that, you can work backwards 43 years to see when the Battle of Baden was fought. So it's very important establishing the chronology of Gildas, establishing when he lived. It's very important in establishing the chronology of Arthur himself. So one of the kings that Gildas directed his comments to was a person called Gwyneth. And most people would say that this Gwyneth was dead by the middle of the 6th century, which means obviously Gildas must have been writing before then, which means that the Battle of Baden must have happened near the beginning of the 6th century, 44 years previously. However, in my book, I present an argument that actually Gwyneth didn't even start ruling until about 580. So he ruled right through to maybe the 590s. Therefore, Gildas, I believe, was writing about 590. So the Battle of Baden, I think, happened in the middle of the 6th century. And this is a really key part of my book. Like, the entire chronology presented in my book works around this basis, that actually Arthur and Gildas and Gwyneth and the other kings actually lived later than is commonly believed. So, what I found today, now I've got that out of the way, what I found today is interesting because I found a source which explicitly supports my chronology. It's a late source, admittedly, but nonetheless it's interesting to note because of what it says. It's in a source called the Canberra Britain, which was written in the early 1800s. And in this book there's a chronicle documenting, it says it's the 24 kings who built the 33 cities of Britain, and it talks about Arthur in one entry. I'll show you here. It says in 516, and then it talks about Arthur. So that fits in with my chronology, but it also fits in with most people's chronology. But what's particularly interesting is the next bit, the next entry. Gwyneth, and the year 581. So this is a source which gives a year for the beginning of Melgon's reign, which is virtually identical to, or off by 1 year, virtually identical to my conclusions in my book. So obviously I'm not saying this proves that I'm right, because, well, it is a late source. But nonetheless, it's interesting to note. It's a source which explicitly supports my chronology instead of the chronology proposed by most people. And in my book, coming out next month, the 15th of May, you'll get to see the whole argument for my chronology using all the early sources that are available about Gwyneth and his associates. But for now, I thought that was worth showing you.